Welcome to the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Cup Series. Once again, we are staying stateside. We've gone over the pond. Last time you were with us, we were at Charlotte, and this time we're at the Daytona Road Course, the 3.6 mile Daytona Road Course, home of the Daytona International Speedway, the Daytona 500, and that all-famous Rolex 24. Tonight, though, we are on the road course. It's a fabulous setup. It gives us some great racing and great drafting. 1959, this was put together by Bill France Sr., Big Bill, and Daytona has been one of the crown jewels of American racing ever since. Andy Alston once again joins myself, Duncan, Vincent, in our virtual commentary box. And if the last Roval road course was anything to go by, Andy, tonight will be sensational.
Oh, absolutely, Duncan. It's going to be three very, very interesting races here at Daytona. Of course, this is the point now. We've had a couple of races under our bag now, and this is where we start to see the real fast drivers coming to the fore here. And of course, the big news going into this one is that Stuart McFadden will not be on the grid after being forced to withdraw from the rest of the Cup due to study commitments. So, of course, we wish him all the very best with that. He'll be a big, big loss, but what it does do is give someone else the opportunity to step up at this event.
It does that, and the last event, if it was anything to go by, well, we were convinced one person was going to win it, and then Michael Weddle stole a cheeky little double. But as we look at tonight's weather conditions, well, what would you expect? Middle of Florida on the East Coast. Weather is pretty much, I think we would say, spot on, Andy. It doesn't look like there's going to be any chance of rain, and the track, as you can see from our Blimp Cam just now, in perfect working order. Big news that Stuart McFadden's not here, but he is going to concentrate on some studies, and that is a great move in anybody's eyes. But tonight, Andy, we were speaking before we came on air. Who are we going to pick as a winner? And, well, we're expecting drafting to the line. That's what the rule is going to be.
No, absolutely. It's going to be absolutely crucial in these races. Yes, there's opportunities to overtake in the infield section, but the driver spends over half a lap round the oval. So getting a good run on the car in front is going to be so important. And just like the last event in Charlotte, I think drivers might leave it late in the race to make a move.
Michael Weddle is the championship leader from Fraser Williamson, and Stuart McFadden will stay in third place for the start of this event, but then he will disappear down the points order. But really, Michael Weddle, with that groovy little double which he got at the last event, certainly helped his championship. Jack Ayre will be on a fight back here. He's sitting in P10 just now, and we expect him and Jordan Gronkowski to get a little further up the points. But who knows? Anything can happen in this. You could qualify in the front row, Andy. You can make a mistake, as we saw Jack Ayre do the last time. The car didn't engage gear. He didn't move off the start line, and effectively that was race one for him done, and he was in the back foot for the rest of the races at Charlotte.
No, absolutely. It had a massive effect on his event. Of course, he fought back very, very well, and he won the final race with a terrific drive. So he's a driver that we know has the pace. It's just about putting it all together now, and he's certainly one to keep an eye on at Daytona.
Now, this is one of my favourite cameras, the Blimp Cam. I'm a big fan of that, the Budweiser or the Goodyear Blimp that we used to have in the sky. Brilliant thing to see. But I'm also a fan of onboard footage. Tonight, we've got a fabulous bit of onboard footage from you. Michael Weddle gave us a lap earlier on, and we're going to commentate over that lap in just a minute to let you see what it's like from the driver's eye view going around Daytona's road course. So Michael is already into turn number one. Pick a braking point. It's all turning on the way in, and get close to the tyre stack on the inside. But, dearie me, it did look like he was going to hit that there. Stretching the engine on the over-rev on the way down, and then through the chicane. Just pick a line through there as you come in towards the International Horseshoe. The bike track goes early there, and we go right round the long side of that. You can use a lot of exit here, right over the white line, out towards the extra little bit of tarmac, and then we come up towards the dogleg. This is essentially turn 4. It's almost a non-event in a Mazda MX-5. You're flat in 4th through here. Then you're up towards the west end horseshoe. You've got to pick a braking point. There's plenty good braking markers for you to get around here. And Weddle gets the car turned in there, gets on the gas nice and early, and drives the car out, uses all the road and the exit curb and a bit more. Starting to build up the confidence now before he comes in towards turn 6, because this is where you leave the road course, the infield circuit, and you make your way on towards those famous banks at Daytona. 33 degrees of banking as we start to go through NASCAR 1. The idea here to keep the car on the yellow line with tiny minimum movements in that steering wheel. The more movements you put in the steering wheel, the more the wheels will turn, the more speed you will scrub off, and you'll be lame down the back stretch in front of the grandstand and underneath the old press box. Now look at the catch fencing on the way down here. You'll see the black marker boards. You'll see 3. You'll be flat past 3. You'll be flat past 2, and he'll turn in at 1 over the curb down 1 gear. This next down change there, key for getting the car rotated through the middle of the chicane, and then get the gas hard and hold it all the way back up onto the banking. The bus stop, the back chicane, a key part to this lap, if not one of the most important parts of the circuit. And then you're around turn 3 in towards NASCAR 4. On the last lap, this is not a position you want to be in. You want to possibly be following somebody, or you're going to be drafted towards the line. But that is an onboard lap time of 2 minutes 10.03 for Michael Weddle. Will that be good enough for pole position? Andy Alston, we will find out as he comes across the checker flag underneath the World Centre of Speed. Massive press conference building here. I am a fan of this track all the way, Andy.
Yeah, it's a great circuit, isn't it? And you mentioned the 24 hours event as well. Of course, I remember just a few years ago when Fernando Alonso appeared on the scene, and just the buzz around that event when he was there taking part was phenomenal as well. And it's just, it always produces great racing. It's one of those tracks that, on the face of it, I think you can look at it and go, right, it's just about keeping the car nice and steady, but there's some real challenges throughout that bus stop chicane that we saw Michael go around there. I mean, he's really on the absolute limit of grip, and that's going to be, I suspect, a real talking point through these next 3 races.
Currently on pole position, we've got Michael Weddle from Jack Air, who we were watching going around there. Interestingly, Jack not staying on the yellow line on the apron. He's taking a high line all the way around the top there. Maybe sandbagging. Maybe he knows that that's going to be maybe a 10th or 2, just that little bit slower. But obviously the track limits are enforced by race director Steve Burns, who will be sitting at home keeping an eye on everything that's going on until you get to the last lap. And then the apron can be used, which can make it and will make it very exciting. Having said that, do you want to be the only man who pops out from the draft and goes onto the apron? Possibly not. Time will tell, and once we get to the racing, Andy, I'll be strapping myself into my commentary seat and I'll be looking forward to getting going, that's for sure. But Michael Weddle fastest from Jack Air. Adam Brown slots himself into 3rd place from Fraser Williamson, Ryan Smith, Sam Corson, Jordan Gronkowski, Josh Hislop, Gaz Brown, and Nathan Lamond rounding at the top 10. You were going to tell us a little bit of news about Sam Corson. We spoke off air about that, Andy, so I suppose it's a perfect time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam Corson, of course, will be joining the C1 grid for us with the SMRC this year. Sam was one of our inaugural virtual to reality winners, and he was originally going to be in the Legends, but now, hopefully with restrictions beginning to ease and everything else, it looks like the C1s is going to be the way to go. So it's a terrific opportunity for Sam. The C1s has been a fantastic initiative at the SMRC. It's been a great way to get started in motorsport, and he's going to be one to watch in that championship. You know, he's very, very quick in the virtual world, so let's see how he gets on in the C1s this season.
8 minutes of qualifying gone, just a couple of minutes left, and Weddle's still the man on top. Nathan Lamond, as we're on board with down the back straight, that's from the top of the press box, and you'll see him going in towards the bus stop here. It's a much faster chicane than we had at Charlotte. The Charlotte chicane was really quite slow. The bus stop at Daytona, it's a grab the car by the scruff of the neck and make sure you get through there. The biggest thing is getting the car rotated mid-chicane and getting on the gas so it can drive you out, up the banking and away. Rory Bryant, we ride on board with, well, we ride beside Rory, we don't ride on board. On the bonnet of that car, we should mention, lovely big picture of Michael Weddle. How to devalue a car in one single step. There you go. Rory Bryant has a lovely picture of Michael Weddle, as I believe quite a few of them do, Andy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they do. Yes, it's Michael's been, he's the only driver in this championship so far that's been on the podium at every single event. He's really setting the standard in terms of consistency, and I think that's going to be so important as this championship goes on, because of course we have this Spring Cup, but we've got another event over the summer, and then we've got a Final Cup as well. And once you tally them all up, that gives us the overall winner. So Michael's certainly been putting together a very, very impressive campaign so far, and again, we're expecting more of the same here at Daytona.
That's a good start. I'm impressed with that start. Weddle has been on the podium. But yeah, good stuff. We'll have to keep our eyes on that. Vic Covey, chairman of the SMRC here. I've got to say he was non-existent at Charlotte. I completely forgot he was in the championship. He didn't feature. I didn't see him doing very many laps, to tell you the truth, Andy. I think it was more a crash bang wallop for Vic. But let's hope he can make hay where the sun shines in Florida. You can see the lake on the inside there. And qualifying has now come to an end. So that means Michael Weddle will start on pole position. This will be an interesting start to race number 1 here. The road course at Daytona, famous for fabulous, fabulous racing. And look at that. That is your proper picture of speed looking across towards the grandstand. Qualifying, Michael Weddle, Jack Ayre, the front row of the grid with Adam Brown, Fraser Williamson, Sam Corson, Ryan Smith, Josh Hislop, who was a surprise at Charlotte, Jordan Gronkowski, Gaz Brown, and Nathan Lamond rounding out the top 10. Andy, there's a lot of fast guys further down, though.
There certainly is, and there's not even 1 second between 1st and 13th. And that, again, just underlines how important the slipstream is going to be here.
So we gave you the grid down to Gaz Brown, Nathan Lamond, and after that we've got Rory Bryant and Cameron Evans making up the rest down to 11th and 12th. As the cars start to line up on the grid, I've gone through that a bit quick, Andy.
No, it's 13th place for Vic Covey, followed by Michael McPherson, Mark Herron, Russell Wheatley, Scott Smith, Cameron Ritchie, Aidan Wilson, and Martin Buchan in 20th place. Then it's Robert McGregor, John Higgins, Jackie Chalmers, and Dave Christie in 24th.
Shout out to Dave Christie down in 24th place, and keep your eye on John Higgins Jr. He's convinced he's going to be going quick tonight. The rest of the guys on the grid there, only 34 cars tonight. Mind you, let's see how many get through turn number 1 and towards the International Horseshoe. Look at that, starting on the banking. There's Jack Ayre. So, yeah, this will be interesting to see these cars. I don't think they've got too much horsepower to spin the back wheels, Andy, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen here?
No, it's easy to get to light up the rear wheels. We've seen it happen before. It's just about getting the car nice and settled and, of course, crucially, surviving the first lap.
Survive is exactly the word, Andy. Race number 1, just in front of us here. The red light started to come on. Here we go. Let's get the action underway. We have got the red lights on. Full complement of lights here for the SMRC eSports. And away we go from the Blimp Cam. And it looks like it's a good start from the front row of the grid. Weddle with a good start. Somebody's slipping down. Is that Jack Ayre with a little bit of a ropey start? But we'll keep ourselves together as they all go through and into turn number 1. Watch for any shenanigans happening mid to back Andy Alston. And I'll keep my eyes up on Michael Weddle, who leads his way through turn number 1 through the chicane and heading towards International Horseshoe. And amazingly, it looks like everybody has got through. A little bit of dust kicked up further back down, which could have been Cameron Evans, but everybody gets through. Adam Brown's got himself into 2nd place, car number 8 with Fraser Williamson 369, and Jack Ayre now down to 4th place as they head towards the dogleg and the West or Horseshoe.
Yeah, and John Gronkowski's had a little bit of a moment. He's dropped 4 places on the start, and Russell Wheatley's dropped 6 places on the start. So Jordan's down to 12th at the moment. He's got the inside line here, and he's moved up into the 11th place now. So we've got Cameron Evans in that blue and orange car just ahead of him as they make their way around the 2nd phase of this lap.
Yeah, he was fighting off Rory Bryant there as we come through turn 6 for the first time and head onto the banking. Now let's see what the draft is going to be like. And let's see what people do. Will they be showing their hand early on? They'll need to, I believe they'll have had quite a bit of practice during the week, but they will still need to practice the draft. As you can see, Jack Ayre sitting just out of the draft there, keeping a little bit of air on the front of the car. Adam Brown has decided that he is just not going to follow Weddle at all, and he's pulling right out as they come down the backstretch towards the bus stop for the first time. Brown hits the front as they go in towards the braking zone. So short for this bus stop. Such a quick entry, and everybody hops over one curb onto the 2nd curb, then bounds their way through and out they go on the far side. Somebody used a little bit more track than they would have liked to there. I think it was Gaz Brown further down. Car number 87, and Rory Bryant plummeting down the order all the way down our scoring chart on the side. There he is, Bryant on the inside. And that has gone horribly wrong. And, well, we'll possibly, hopefully, maybe get a replay on that. But right now, back at the front, Weddle from Williamson. So it's changed again. Adam Brown down to 3rd. So it shows you, Andy, just how quick the draft is going to affect things here.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're getting the elbows out straight away as well. Look at this, 3 abreast here as they make their way across the start-finish line. Now, Fraser Williamson in 4th place. He's just sitting behind him at the moment. Having said that, it looks like he's got the inside line into Jack Ayre, the purple car, on the outside. Can Fraser make that stick, though? Looks like Jack's managed to hold on at the moment. Of course, now they're going to go into a right-hander, and it looks like Jack's got the positions. And then look at that, there's contact, and it looks like that's Josh Hislop. Josh Hislop and Ryan. Oh, dearie me. They can't get the cars are stuck to each other. Look at that. Oh, pure drama here, and it's only the second lap of this race.
Well, I must say, I've never seen a Mazda MX-5 in the bonnet of another one, but I can't say that now. Those two cars will get separated, but back at the front is still Weddle and Brown. After Brown leading in towards the Horseshoe, leading in towards the bus stop, sorry, by the time they come out the bus stop, he was down to third, fourth place. So the draft is going to affect them as they go through NASCAR 1 and 2 and NASCAR 3 and 4. Michael McPherson further down in the pack, 10th place just now for Mikey. 5.4 seconds off the lead at the front, and there is a big gap at the front now. You can see gap starting to appear just ahead of Gaz Brown. Jordan Gronkowski is kind of out of sight there, and that's not what you want. You do not want to lose the draft on a track such as Daytona as they go round once again. The 33 degrees of banking. Let's watch what Weddle does this time as they come down towards the bus stop on the back straight. Great camera, brilliant camera. This will show us the draft. Up behind comes Brown. Brown goes past. He's helped along by Jack Eyre as well, and Michael Weddle completely defenceless against the wall down the back straight, and he goes from first to third in one foul swoop. Weddle doing absolutely nothing wrong there. That's how slipstreaming works. Pick a partner, work with your partner, you will go forward. Having said that, you will also go backwards.
Oh, absolutely, and Jack here timed his braking point to absolute perfection going into the bus stop, and he had to because there was nothing to split those two cars there, and really good drive for him so far. Looks like there's another couple of drivers just moving down the order there. Jackie Chalmers, I think, has dropped off there as we now follow. Adam Brown, in fact, is now taking the lead. Look at that. Michael Weddle now, they're trading positions. There, guys, 3 wide, almost coming into 4 wide, because there's Fraser Williamson looking to get involved as well. And again, Duncan, this is the thing, I did expect in race 1 that the drivers would maybe just keep their cars close to their chest over the first few laps and then start to make a move, but it looks like they're getting involved straight away.
We had a 4-car battle at the front. We now have an 8-car battle at the front. Jordan Gronkowski being just on the back of that battle, but he's only a couple of, well, not even a second off the front. This is close racing, and this is how we like it. Sam Corson in 5th place just now. Jordan Gronkowski a couple of cars behind him. There is a gap behind Gronkowski to McPherson. 4 seconds is the gap. 4 seconds is around about how far Michael is off the back. To bridge that, he's going to have to do something superhuman, I have to say. This, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a slipstreaming epic. It's going to see who can keep it on the track, and it's also going to see who knows how to draft. As they come through the West Horseshoe, we look further back down, that's Cameron Ritchie defending on the way into the corner. Dave Christie in the Canberra Media Racing car. Oh, and round goes Cameron Ritchie, and he's caught by, is that John Higgins Jr.? It's difficult to see who that is. 117? Robert McGregor jumps into the side of Cameron Ritchie, and that's another 2 cars stuck together. So that's rather strange. That's twice in one race with 2 cars, Andy, completely stuck together.
Yeah, iRacing have tweaked the damage model over the last wee while. So I wonder if that's perhaps coming into play a little bit here, and the drivers are just being compromised slightly by it. But as we look back to the front, we've got Adam Brown. He is in the lead at the moment. Jack Eyre a 10th or so behind, and look at that, very, very close as they go into the bus stop. Cars hopping over the initial curb, then just holding onto all of the grip those tyres possibly can. And we follow John Gronkowski now. He's the fastest driver out on track. Last time out, 2 minutes 9.1. Of course, he dropped 4 places at the start as well, but back into lap 3, he's where he started, qualified on 8th, and he's got Nathan Lamont in front of him, then followed by Cameron Evans. So let's see if he can make his way up the pack. We've got another change in lead now, Duncan. Look at that. It's Jack Eyre, car number 13, entered the lead of this race. Adam Brown, Michael Weddle, both trading places as well. Weddle's got the outside line. He's got the momentum, though, and the drive. That temporarily puts him into the lead as they go over the start-finish line. Keep an eye on Adam Brown, though. The green alloys there. He's got the inside line on Jack Eyre, so can he make that stick into this left-hander? He can't. Jack Eyre closes his door nicely, and he retains 2nd place in this race.
Through the first corner they come. This is brilliant racing. This is fabulous. This is what we want from our eSports racing. And while we were on board with Jordan Gronkowski, we could actually see the Jack Eyre change of lead at the front. There's somebody on the grass on the way in there. I believe that's somebody maybe retiring. And that looks like a spin there. Round it goes. Nathan Lamond and Jordan Gronkowski have a little bit of side-to-side loving. Now, the new damage model that iRacing have picked up on, I need to say, Andy, have they added super glue to it? Because that seems to be what happened with a couple of the cars earlier on. Thankfully, they've all managed to separate themselves as Vic Covey goes through the dog leg, flat out fourth gear corner, almost a non-event in one of these cars as we come down towards the West Horseshoe just now. There's Michael McPherson in the middle of another battle, just ahead of Michael McPherson, Nathan Lamond. And we have also got Vic Covey, Scott Smith, car number... Oh, Scott Smith's currently in 11th place, the Knockout Garage Mechanic. And we do like Scott Smith, car number 82 there. Now, that colour scheme's changed. That's what's thrown me just a little bit. That colour scheme's changed since the last time. And we're now back on the banking with Jordan Gronkowski, who is tucked right up behind Sam Corson. And there seems to be a little bit of a gap now. Look at that. Something's happened here. There's been a grenade thrown in the middle of that. Gronkowski pulls out from Corson. He's getting pushed along by Cameron Evans as they go down the back straight. But something has happened off shot that we have missed. Side by side into the bus stop. Brave stuff there. The wing mirror dangling off the side of Sam Corson's car. But Andy, I didn't see what happened, but something has definitely blown that pack apart.
Yeah, and this is a dilemma for all three of them now, because you've got about 7 minutes left in this race, and ideally you would want to try and work together and use the slipstream to close in on the pack in front, but there's not a lot of time left in this race. It's 2 minutes 10 or so for one lap, so it's going to be difficult for that three to try and make headway as we follow Martin Buchan now in P10. He's had a terrific race so far. He's up 10 places from where he started. He's on the outside here at the moment. See if he can make this stick and go one place further. Oh, let's see, it's just coming round. I think he's just about got the inside line there. Look at that, the iCar credit card, those lovely yellow alloys as well. I have to say, you can't miss them. And there he is, he's into 10th now. He's got the inside line into Scott Smith as well, so we have that well tidied up as we just follow Dave Christie, the yellow 64 car at the back. There's been a little bit of contact there behind. Both cars look like they've been affected coming out of turn one. Let's see if we can get a replay of that one.
Yeah, Mark Hearn in the copper-coloured car there. Brake lights on as he goes in. Christie comes in, throws one up the inside kind of wildly. Bosh into the side. And Mark Hearn has no more luck with Dave Christie. So whether that's going to be a little chat, getting a bit salty in the chat room later on, we will find out. Adam Brown, though, back at the front. He slipped past Michael Weddle on that last lap, and he's now got a 3/10 of a second lead. And that will disappear in a heartbeat the minute they get onto the banking. But this four... the big powerhouse away at the front, Brown, Weddle, Eyre and Williamson, as we are 9:53 through this race. Andy, you say 2:30, 2 minutes 10 a lap. A couple of more laps, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. A couple more laps in this one, and I have to say it's no surprise to see Adam Brown right in the mix here, because he was very, very impressive last time out at Charlotte. He had 2 second places, and then he was involved in that crash in the final race, which really put him right out of points paying contention.
Now, did you see what he did there, Andy? Sorry, did you see? He actually pulled out from that. He saw the 2 cars coming behind him. He pulled out from that and let them pass underneath. So there's a bit of sportsmanship happening here. I think the place you want to be right now is where Adam Brown or Fraser Williamson is. Sandbag, stay at the back. You do not want to be where Michael Weddle is just now. Jack Eyre possibly also in a position where he's thinking, okay, last lap, this isn't the place to be, or maybe it is. Are we expecting a grandstand finish? Yes. Have we seen many NASCAR finishes go wrong towards the line? Yes, we have. So let's see what happens. Sean Warrington goes through the chicane, and look at this. You have to wonder, Andy, are they going to pick a drafting partner? Are we going to see proper NASCAR tactics?
Well, the trouble for Fraser Williamson is the 3 cars in front of him are all Rethink Racing drivers, so he's, Fraser's really just, I think he's going to go it alone here. I don't think he has any other choice. 4th place at the moment is Fraser. And I dare say he'll be thinking about how the events unfolded last time round. It was the last lap or so before people were making a move. So I think Fraser's quite happy just to sit behind there in 4th and then spring a surprise.
Michael McPherson tries to go underneath Vic Covey, but Vic Covey makes it so easy for him by just going wide off the track there and comes back on, and a side-to-side contact there. Scott Smith tries to get past Vic Covey as well, and Dave Christie still lurking menacingly in the back in the Camber racing car after his little misdemeanor last time into turn number 1. 11:40 gone in this race, the 15-minute allotted time. We're not quite there yet, but we're not far away from it. This is where you have to start thinking at the front, where do I want to be? Adam Brown has gone back to the front with Jack Eyre, Michael Weddle, then Fraser Williamson. That's going to be the podium out of that 4. Gronkowski, Corson, and you've got to say the rest of them, 4th, 5th, 6th, onwards, or 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, all just as close together as we see Martin Buchan, 666. Lovely racing number that to have Martin, and he's got all this stream of cars behind him. So really, let's see what happens at the front here. We go back towards the front now with 12 minutes gone in this race. Jack Air hovering about the back bumper of Adam Brown. Adam stays on that yellow line, then drifts up in front of Jack Air to block him. And here comes the steamroller himself, Michael Weddle, straight past him on the inside, underneath, using the draft, not getting caught up in any shenanigans. And through he goes. Watch a Music Air bounce over the first one, bounce over the second one. He's hard on the gas now after a late down change in the middle of that chicane to let the car turn. And away he goes. And the momentum that Michael Waddle had there, Andy, pretty sensational. 12:50. We're going to cross the line with 13 minutes. This could be us coming on to our last lap.
Yes, I suspect it might well be. And watch out for Michael Weddle. He'll drop into second or third here, and I suspect he'll be quite happy to do that because he wants to make that move after the bus stop, this time coming round now. So Adam Brown inherits first place, and he's almost a little bit of a sitting duck to a degree because it's the 3 cars behind him. Fraser Williamson on the inside now as a ride on board with him. He's currently third place. He's got the inside line crucially into this left-hander, and let's see if he can now make his way past Michael Weddle and indeed Adam Brown also.
I'm interested to see who decides to come onto the apron. I'm interested to see who weaves down the back straight, and Steve Burns will be keeping an eye on this as well. Down towards the International Horseshoe they come, and round they go. The front 4, Adam Brown, in the place where he possibly... Well, actually, that's not a bad place to be just now because he'll get done going down the back straight in towards the bus stop, but then coming at the bus stop, if he has lost a couple of positions, he will be in the driver's seat towards the line as we look back towards Ryan Smith, who's down in 21st position just now. And he chases Jonathan Glover. Another spin for Rory Bryant. And I say another spin. He's not had the best race, number 1 here, but we want to follow these guys at the front just now as they come back towards the banking. NASCAR 3 and NASCAR 1 and NASCAR 2, sorry. Fraser Williamson launches one at that turn 6 to try and gather momentum. And here we go. We're looking back at Michael Weddle from Adam Brown, and they're up on the high side. Note that they're against the wall just now. So that gives them the little chance to drop down towards the yellow line, gives you a few more RPM. As we come round towards us, it looks like Jack Air has dropped just off the back, Andy, down towards the bus stop. Weddle goes for the inside. He's throwing it, but he's also backing out of it there. And Williamson got in the back of him as they come down here. Jack Air isn't out of this one yet. He's just jumped off the back as they come through the bus stop, Andy, 2 corners from home.
Yeah, and I think Michael Weddle just dripping into the inside there has compromised Fraser Williamson. That's then allowed Jack Air back into the fray here as well. Looks like Adam Brown 0.4 of a second though from Michael and Fraser. I wonder if Adam Brown has got this first win of the evening wrapped up.
As they come down towards the line, here comes Williamson. Williamson not drafting, and Brown decides to jump down and give Williamson the draft. It's going to be Adam Williamson or it's going to be Michael Weddle here. Adam Brown's out with this one. There's going to be a bit of defending towards the line. Weddle comes round. It's going to be Michael Weddle by half a car as they cross the line, and Jack Air got 3rd place and just squeezes Adam Brown off the podium. Fabulous driving from Michael Weddle, Fraser Williamson and Jack Air and Adam Brown. Very, very close. Behind them, Jordan Gronkowski comes through. Dave Christie on the high. Mark Heron, I should say there. Dave Christie got a position there into the top 10. Fabulous racing all the way down the field there as everybody comes to an end. But John Gronkowski did get 5th. Cameron Evans in 6th. Sam Corson, Martin Buchan, Scott Smith and Dave Christie come home 9th and 10th. They'll both be very happy with that one as we look down to 23rd to see Vic Covey come across. But Michael Weddle takes another sensational victory. And Andy, hats off to number 7 for that one.
Yeah, terrific stuff. 1/10 of a second split in the top 4. And Adam Brown, of course, was in the lead there. He had 0.4 of a second between him and Michael at that point, but it just looked like he didn't quite get the drive. That allowed Michael just to get the most out of his slipstream, I should say. And it's a bit of deja vu here, Duncan, I have to say, because it was the same thing at the first race at Charlotte. You know, Michael came in there last lap, made the move and picked up another terrific win. So he'll be more than happy with that one.
There was a bit of gamesmanship going down the back stretch, which we're looking at now by Weddle. You can see Weddle did have the speed to pull out and pass in the draft there, but he decided not to, and that let Fraser Williamson get into the back of Michael Weddle. So they're thinking about it. Obviously, it looks like it's a 12-minute track day, and then a all-for-nothing 2-minute burst towards the end for the last lap. Let's see if that changes for race number 2. But Michael Weddle will be happy with that one. That's his third win in the championship, and that extends Michael Weddle's championship points as well, Andy. He'll be pretty happy with that one as we get set for race number 2.
Yeah, 35 points for a race win, and Michael's consistency here, I think, is going to pay dividends towards the back end of this overall championship. He's been very, very impressive so far, but Fraser Williamson was a very strong performance throughout as well. So, if that one was anything to go by, I think race number 2 is going to be another cracker.
Race number 2, grid is the finishing order from race number 1. We did talk about that. Weddle on the front row from Williamson. Big shout out to Dave Christie, I've got to say, in 10th place here. By far and away the best result he's had, and he'll be happy to be alongside his former colleague Scott Smith before we go racing with this one. Again, Andy, from the Blimp Cam. This is the best way to watch the race start at Daytona. We get to see almost everything that goes on, but eyes in the front, eyes in the middle, and eyes at the back, because the action with 20 seconds to go before the start can happen anywhere. Robert McGregor will be looking for a better race, as will Jackie Chalmers, and John Higgins all the way down there in 34th place. He'll be ruining that one. So the lights starting to come on. Full complement of lights here at Daytona, and away we go. And it's a pretty clean start from the front row with Weddle and Williamson. Jack Eyre in 3rd place, and Jordan Gronkowski already in 4th as they come round towards turn number 1. It looks, Andy, if I'm not mistaken, everybody getting a good clean start. Let's hold our breath as they come down through turn number 1. On the inside, Weddle leads his way as he goes through the chicane round towards the International Horseshoe on the inside of the road course here. Famous corner this for all sorts of action happening. Through the come Jordan Gronkowski, running a little bit wide there, Andy, whether that's a cold tyre or whether he just caught something or snatched something on the way in there.
Could well have does, and it's going to cost him that run, of course, right along that short straight. Adam Brown, I think he'd got a little bit of wheel spin at the start. He's dropped down the order in 6th place at the moment, so he's down 2 places from where he started. Cameron Evans, Sam Corson, both of them leapfrogging up the order as well, so they've done pretty well. There's Sam Corson here in car number 68, the kind of blue and black liveried Rethink Racing car. Jordan Gronkowski, 7th place so far. He's dropped down 2 from the start as well. So, yeah, it looks like most of the grid have made it through. Just a little bit of contact. As soon as I say that, it's Dave Christie, Michael McPherson involved. And there's further contact as well. 1 wheel off there for Michael McPherson. He is absolutely out of this race. And the rest of the cars looking to avoid it. Further contact here as well. And it's all kicking off now, Duncan, I have to say.
I've got to say, they're still crashing round the banking there. But that was Dave Christie just tagging the back of Michael McPherson in towards turn 6, and that sent McPherson firing into the back of Scott Smith. So turn 6 claims what looked like 15 cars there on the way in and the way out. So Dave Christie will be getting a bit of a slap on the knuckles for that one. It's easy to make a mistake, though. We need to remember that, and these things do happen. So back towards the front, Jack Eyre has managed to get himself towards the front with Michael Weddle 2nd, Fraser Williamson 3rd, and Sam Corson in 4th. We're looking at Cameron Evans, car number 98 there in 5th place as they make their way round Jack Eyre, though. Well, it's the big 3 at the front. Eyre moves out from the apron line, pulls up and lets those 2 go underneath him, Weddle and Williamson. These 2 guys do draft very well together, but Michael Weddle's got the teammates, hasn't he? As you said, Fraser Williamson, he's just trying to make friends out there, Andy.
Yeah, he absolutely is, and Fraser's just trying to make the most of it, I have to say. And look at that, very, very close there as they come into turn 1. That's 2 abreast there, Jordan Gronkowski on the inside line there on Adam Brown. That's forcing Adam wide, but now look at that, Jordan's going into, he's closing in on Cameron Evans and Jack Eyre now. Jack Eyre got the inside line there, car number 13, and there's Cameron Evans up to P3. Look at that, just very, very close there. Cameron Evans managing to just survive there, use a little bit of that runoff as well, and this has been pure drama. It looks like there's so many cars in the pits as well. We've got 22 cars out there on track as things stand out of a possible 34, and it's only lap 2.
Yeah, only lap 2. But thankfully we'll get through lap 2 and we won't lose any more cars. That's what we'll look for further back down. Mark Hearn looks like he's managed to get himself back going as well. So we've gone from the 22 to 23, so not a huge increase. But this is where the accident happened on the previous lap. The contact with Christie into the back of McPherson, into the back of Scott Smith, and then everybody else wanted to be part of that accident, which is not a problem. They can be if they want to be. But right now we ride on board with Adam Brown. He pops out from the red and black lines car of Jordan Gronkowski, and that's Cameron Evans just ahead of those 2 guys. This is brilliant camera shot here of just what it's like to deal with the draft on the banking. And I've got to say, Adam Brown could be in the draft, but he swings down through the draft there and gets back into a perfect position to go up the inside in towards the bus stop. So that was a classic bit of driving there, and he doesn't actually gain a position though. It looked good, but it didn't actually gain him a position. Just behind Adam Brown, we've got Sam Corson and Martin Buchan 7th and 8th. As we head round towards the NASCAR 3 and 4. And where is Ryan? Is Ryan Smith and Dave Christie just behind him? No, a bit of a bigger gap back to Ryan Smith and Dave Christie. So Dave Christie will be wanting to keep his nose clear on this one. Let's follow the Canberra media guru as they come through just now. He's getting close to the back of Ryan Smith. He goes to the high side. That's a NASCAR move if I've ever seen it. He comes back down into the draft to try and pick up the slipstream as they go across the start-finish line. But behind him, he's got Gaz Brown incoming rather rapidly, Andy.
Yeah, he certainly does. And, it's been, look, it's 3 wide across the start-finish line there. Dave Christie in the middle there. We've got car number 94. Look, there's contact. One car's off, and it's car number 87, Gaz Brown. He's been tagged on the outside, and there's not much he can do about that at all. He goes tumbling.
I'd like to see a replay of that one, Andy. I've got to say that was Dave Christie involved in another incident there, and that wasn't Dave's fault. That was one car trying to basically... It was almost as if he didn't know Dave Christie was there. So a little replay of that one would be pretty cool. But Dave Christie has certainly had his fair play of action. Now watch the number 87 car here. Dave Christie doesn't really deviate his line. He's braking, he turns in, and there's a contact there. And, well, I think Steve Burns will just chalk that one down to a racing incident, and we'll get going again for race number 3. Still inside the top 10 for Dave Christie, with Cameron Ritchie just behind him. Josh Hislop, who... Yeah, we didn't see Josh Hislop much in race 1, Andy, purely because he mounted another car after turn number 1, and that was really him done. But he was a surprise for us at Charlotte as we go back on board with Weddle. Now, look at the gap that Michael Weddle's got on his bumper cam back to Fraser Williamson. Let's see how quickly that gets eaten up on the run down towards the bus stop. Bearing in mind, Jack Eyre is also in the air, pushing Fraser Williamson along. Here they come. They're like a steam train. They've got so much momentum. What will they do? Will they pull out and pass? No, they won't. They're actually just going to sit in behind. Cameron Evans, though, on the other hand, he's going to go past 1, past 2. Coming through, Andy. Coming through and doing a good job with that one there.
Yeah, it certainly is. Cameron's getting involved in this one. We had a 4-horse race last time out. It looks like it's going to be a little bit more than that this time. Cameron Evans is up 4 places from where he started, but look at that very, very narrow defensive line there from Fraser Williamson. Fraser Williamson is trying to force that MX-5 up the inside there, but it's just not happening. He's just sitting behind though, and look at the cars behind. We've got 5 cars all there. John Gronkowski just a little bit off, so he'd be looking to try and just tuck into the slipstream if he can. And it's all kicking off here. They're just trading positions left, right, and centre. And we're at that stage of the race, though, Duncan, where there's only 6 and a bit minutes on the clock. So the drivers, just all about being patient and crucially keeping the car on the track.
Well, Cameron Evans hit the front there, and then it looks like he ran a little bit wide and deep into turn number 1. Now, remember, at the last one, Charlotte, unfortunately, Cameron dropped the car right in the middle of the chicane, and that caused all sorts of mayhem. We lost at least a good 4 or 5 cars, Adam Brown being one of the key cars that we lost along with Cameron in that crash. We should mention John Higgins Jr. I've just noticed him in 13th place just now, bearing in mind he started 34th, but he's obviously had a bit of help from some of the crashes, but he is well on his way to a good finish here. Can Mr. Top 10 surface again as he did at the last round? There's John. And that Robert McGregor in the way. Is that Cameron Evans? Who is that? We've got Sam Corson. I think I saw Cameron Evans face the wrong way as well. So let's see a replay here. Looking at Robert McGregor in towards the West Horseshoe. He turns the car in. He just goes deep on the way in. And what happens here? He then stops, and then there's a crash behind him. So Robert McGregor maybe trying to get out of the way there, or making a mistake, and then an instant happening, Andy, off the side of him. Not really Robert McGregor's fault, but it certainly was a disaster for Cameron Evans, who was leading on the last lap, and he finds himself 7th.
Yeah, Robert McGregor was a lap down, so he's got well out of the way to let the leaders through, and then he's almost had to halt again because of the contact there in front of him. So, yeah, Cameron's dropped down to 8th place at the moment. There will absolutely be damage as a result of that contact, and it looks like he's going to be out of contention here, and he's coming under more pressure now from Cameron Ritchie, who's been having a very, very good race so far, up 16 places. Him and both Ryan Smith just in front of them have really benefited from this, and then Cameron Evans is under more pressure now from Dave Christie, car number 64, and with that damage, it's just matter of time, I suspect, before Dave gets a move.
Beware, Dave Christie is incoming. Cameron Evans. He's had an action-packed race, Dave Christie. He's got the sleeves are rolled up, and he means business. The gum shield very much in as Jordan Gronkowski goes underneath Martin Buchan to take the fourth step. I was going to say on the podium. There's no such thing as a fourth step on the podium. Take P4 as they come in towards Termundo. And Jordan, well, will he be happy with his season so far? I think maybe yes, but there's room for improvement. I think he will say that himself as we ride on board with Fraser Williamson towards International Horseshoe. 1.8 seconds off the lead is Gronkowski right now. So it looks like it's Brown, Weddle and Williamson away at the front. Jack Eyre down in 6th place. He was one of the expected guys to be inside that top 4, but Jordan Gronkowski and Martin Buchan really have got themselves together in this one as they go on board through the dogleg up towards the Western Horseshoe just now. 369. Fraser Williamson is our bumper car. Andy, 9:37 gone in the race. This is really where the race starts. It's survival to this point. We're now about to start racing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 3 cars in the front. Jordan Gronkowski's just had a moment in the last lap because his time was a 2 minutes 12. Everyone else posting 2 minutes 11. So if you look at the gap in the timings, he's 1.8 seconds off the pack. So he's got a little bit of work to do. 5 minutes left in this race to get himself into contention as we follow. That's Josh Hislop now in 11th place, car number 23. He's had a very, very impressive race so far. And yeah, it's just been absolute drama throughout, I have to say. We've got 2 cars here. John Higgins
teammates
in 12, teammates, yep. And let's see if they kind of work together and try and close the gap on Josh Hislop in 11th place.
Aidan Wilson, young Aidan pushing Junior along in 13th and 12th and 13th respectively as Weddle goes through chicane. I love that chicane. I love seeing the cars go in there. They use so much curb on the way in. The car's almost floating going through there. It looks absolutely fabulous. And then you come on to, well, I make no bones about NASCAR being one of my favourite sports. We come on to the 33 degrees of banking with Adam Brown, Michael Weddle, Fraser Williamson, and positions changing left, right and centre. That was a fairly big bang up the back there, I've got to say. You've got to have to watch. You might end up getting damage if you hit them that hard. Brown at the front from Williamson, and Weddle does his customary kind of dropping down to 3rd place. I'm quite okay, boys. This is as fast as I can possibly go. But we know he's sandbagging. He's going to have to watch, though, because if he sandbags too much, Jordan Gronkowski will latch on the back of that. And Jack Eyre has just set the fastest lap of the race, Andy Alston, a 2:09.2. Jack Eyre is on fire right now.
Certainly is. That's a very, very strong lap, and he's just making his way. Well, he's dropped 3 places off the start, of course. But again, he's that driver that has got the pace. And of course, remember, this being the second race, we do have that reverse grid to deal with for the finale. So let's see where he finishes up in this one. He's just a little bit off Jordan Gronkowski on 4th place at the moment. As things stand, P8 is on provisional pole, so that is Cameron Ritchie, who's just been overtaken by Ryan Smith. So we've got that dilemma to throw into the mix here as well as we follow the cars back at the front. It's Adam Brown leading the way with those green alloys in the front. Fraser Williamson behind now. Duncan, the interesting thing to note as they made their way across the start-finish line last time round was, you mentioned earlier that Fraser was almost pushing Adam along the start-finish straight, and that was him essentially saying, I don't want to overtake you, but then there's going to be no more overtaking for Cameron Evans and Dave Christie because they've had a moment. And again, look at that. The both cars have locked together, so let's see what happens this time.
Replay, Christie's behind, Evans on the lead as they come in towards here. We almost know what's going to happen. They both break, and oh, good grief, good Lord. Well, they touched very early and they went towards the corner there, but that's Dave Christie's third manoeuvre. And who was that? Was that Michael Weddle? No, who was that? It was Michael Weddle off on the banking. Michael Weddle loses it on the back stretch. There was contact with another car there. Let's grab a replay off that just now. Jordan Gronkowski behind, tries to cut down, cuts and touches the back quarter. And round goes Gronkowski and round goes Weddle, the two real circuit racers coming together on the back straight away there. And that has, well, effectively cost those guys a chance of a podium finish. Jack Eyre leads, Adam Brown second, Fraser Williamson third. It's not over for the podium by any way, shape or form. These guys all still racing, but that is a disaster for the championship for those two guys, especially Michael Weddle.
No, absolutely. But it's great news for Fraser Williamson for his championship hopes, because last time out at Charlotte, results didn't really go his way. But again, second in the opener, currently second at the moment with Jack Eyre in front in what will almost surely be the final lap. So that incident has already had massive ramifications in this championship. Jack Eyre leading away in car number 13. Fraser Williamson hot in his heel, a 10th behind. Then it's Adam Brown and Martin Buchan. There's 4 cars involved for the win in the second race here this evening at Daytona. And Jack Eyre's just managing to hold off the chasing pack as things stands. Little puff of the brakes there, Carl, locking up. Martin Buchan, P4 now at the moment as well. So, yes, it's all kicking off here, and it's almost, I dare say, too close to call.
13 minutes 50 off the race gone. I believe this will be our last lap. We shall just get the checkered flag at the end of this. Let's see if they can get that far, though. Jack Air leads just now as they come round the West Horseshoe, round towards the point where they join the NASCAR banking, and they'll go through 1 and 2 off the NASCAR oval. Martin Buchan with a fabulous result here just now. No matter what happens in this one, he's well up inside the points positions, and that's where he wants to be. Jack Air's got a big lead as they come onto the banking, though, and that could actually affect him, and it could hurt him a bit. Depends what Adam Brown wants to do here. Will Adam help push Fraser Williamson? Well, he's going to have to. Jack Air looked like he throttled off there, actually. He might have just rolled out that throttle just that little bit to let them catch back up, because that gap diminished far too quickly to be a natural bit of slipstreaming as they go down the back straight. A bit of weaving from Jack Air. He tries to put Williamson out against the wall. He pulls to the inside and lets them go. There's a bit of gamesmanship straight away as they come in towards the bus stop. Was that a slowdown, actually, Andy Alston, for Jack Air?
Yes, I suspect that was a slowdown penalty for Jack Air. He had no choice but to ease off the throttle and give up the time gained, and that's put him down to third place and out of contention for this one, because it's Fraser Williamson who now leads away. 0.3 of a second between him and Adam Brown. So can he hold on to the win in this race?
Round towards the flag they come. Through NASCAR turn 4, here comes Adam Brown. You can almost hear the Jaws music inside the helmet of Fraser Williamson. Williamson tries to squeeze him against the wall, but Adam Brown's going to drive alongside him, and he's going to take that position. Where's Jack Air? Jack Air goes to the apron. He has to duck back up because there's a bit of blocking. It's a win for Adam Brown. Second place for Fraser Williamson, and Jack Air came back for that fabulous attempt at second to take third. Martin Buchan, it's side by side for the teammates. Is it Junior or Wilson? It's going to be Junior by the half of a bumper inside the top 10 for both the MSR guys. And brilliant racing all the way down the field. Cameron Evans recovering after his issue with Dave Christie, and let's see where Dave Christie will finish. Dave Christie down in 20th position after that one, but that was a fabulous race towards line there. Adam Brown, Andy, timed that to perfection.
Yes, he did indeed. He got the drive perfectly there. Fraser Williamson pushing him all the way. There must have been centimetres between the MX-5 and the barriers, but he just managed to make it stick as we follow. Car number 27, Rory Bryant, very close there as they're battling for the final points paying positions, and he's got it there. He's managed to make that move stick there as Rory Bryant. So he secures 18th place in this race. And here's Dave Christie, 21st in the end. And yes, it's been a rather eventful race, I think.
It has. I'll drop him a message, but I've got to say, one of them definitely not Dave's fault. Another one, well, I've got to say a couple of racing incidents, but these things do happen as we're on board with Vic Covey, and he's going to get done by Michael McPherson, who goes underneath him through the banking. McPherson will just come up and wipe the nose off Vic Covey. Vic Covey will try everything in his book of tricks. And what's going to happen here? But McPherson's going to drive him up towards the wall. It's going to be Vic Covey who takes that, looking for a side draft. Where it was, yes, we held that one on the line, but it was Vic Covey who actually came back and took that one by absolutely nothing. I think that's all we can say that one. So some of these finishes are so close here. So we'll have a quick second to swallow and get our throats clear, and we'll look at the results for race number 2 here at Daytona for the SMRC eSports. I did enjoy that one a lot. Adam Brown takes a fabulous victory from Fraser Williamson and Jack Air. Martin Buchan, Cameron Ritchie and Ryan Smith, the top 6. Josh Hislop, a great run to 7th. The 2 MSR teammates, Higgins and Wilson, in 8th and 9th. 10th place for Not Kill Scott Smith. Jonathan Glover, Jackie Chalmers, Dave Noonan, John Proctor in 14th. Cameron Evans in 15th after an unlucky drive there. Stevie Walsh, Mark Hearn and Rory Bryant down in 18th position.
Yes, absolute drama there, I have to say, Duncan. And the drivers between 5th and 10th were the ones that really won there. They all made up multiple positions throughout that race. John Higgins and Josh Hislop both made up 26 places in the course of 15 minutes, which is absolutely remarkable. And that really does set the stage for a cracking finale here, because it will mean it's John Higgins that starts the final race here at Daytona from pole position ahead of Josh Hislop. So it's going to be a very interesting one indeed, Duncan.
Pole for Junior. Let's see. This could be Junior's moment. This could be what he's been waiting for. He did drive very well in that last one, I've got to say. We are live from the Daytona Road Course. This is the Scottish Motor Racing Club eSports Racing Championship. We're on Facebook, SMRC Facebook, SMRC YouTube, and Sim Broadcasts, your live streaming partner for your sim racing event, giving us a fabulous Twitch stream no matter where you're watching. Drop us a message if you can. Get involved in the chat room and let us know what you think of the racing so far, because we've still got one more to go, the reverse grid one, and sometimes it's the one with the most action. But after watching that race, Andy, can we possibly get any more action?
No, it's been absolute drama throughout, hasn't it? It's always, we spoke about it in opener, it's always a circuit that produces very interesting racing. And the one thing for me that I think is worth considering is, of course, it's 3 15-minute races. So once you get into the final one, you've had quite a lot of seat time in the car. And when you're competing wheel to wheel, as we've seen so often throughout all these races, it can really take the toll mentally. I feel you can become quite fatigued. And that's when there's potentially an opportunity for drivers to make a move, particularly in the final couple of laps.
I'm going to have to stick up for my mate Dave Christie here, because he's racing with guys that are seasoned pros, Andy, and Dave was the broadcast guy for quite a while for the SMRC, so he's not had as much seat time, so probably caught out a couple of times maybe on a first busy lap there, but certainly his first race getting inside the top 10 was a stellar effort, and that one, unfortunately, it just fell apart. He needs a good third race here to get his confidence back up more than anything, one would imagine. I
think what Dave's shown, though, is that he's got the pace. Yeah, and that for me is the big thing. He's improved as the seasons wore on, and I think the challenging thing with these cars, but particularly when in a track like this, is it's very easy for a car to end up in your blind spot. And when you're battling into turn one in particular, because it's that long sweeping left-hander, and it's a tricky one to get right on your own, never mind having two cars either side of you. It's been it's reflected in the drama that we've had throughout, not just at the front of the pack, but all the way through as well, of course.
Stu McFadden, if you're watching, if you're tuned in, give us a message and let us know if you're enjoying this. I guarantee you wish now you were involved in this, but you do what you've got to do, and we'll see you back for the TCR Summer Cup when that comes around. So we're not far away from the start of the final. And Andy, would you pick a winner? Are you brave enough to pick a winner? I will say one thing. I would love to see John Higgins Jr. have a good run here. After that second race, that was something special. How long can he hang at the front? Can he work with somebody? Drafting here is so important.
Absolutely. As is the race start, I have to say, we're seeing a couple of the drivers just getting a little bit too much wheel spin, and then they're dropping down the order, and it's really compromising them, because the amount of cars that we've got on the grid, it's very easy to drop from, say, 4th to 10th. You just get swallowed up by the rest of the pack. So if they can get a clean start and then just cover the inside into turn one, then there's every chance they could pull away and have a very good race.
Yeah, exactly. The start, we've seen so many people have issues in the start. Michael Weddle will be a little bit miffed after that one. Contact with John Gronkowski as they went through NASCAR turn 2, onto the back straight. One of these things that happens when you're jockeying for position and you're trying to get into the draft of another car. It was one of these things. Unfortunately, Jordan got into the back quarter of Michael, and then there's nothing that Michael Weddle can do. It'll turn you around so quickly in an absolute heartbeat and have you facing the wrong way. It does dent his championship a little bit. We'll try and have a look at points later in this broadcast, but he came in here championship leader. He got a win in the first race. I don't know if you got the points in front of you, Andy, or the mental calculator's that strong, but I'm not going to put you under any pressure just yet. Don't worry, pal. Not just yet, as we're getting set for race number 3, but I expect a full points haul halfway through this race. No, I'm only kidding, Andy. I'm only kidding. I would never do that to you. I would never do that. So we're waiting for the grid to come up. We're waiting for cars to start gridding. The final race here at the Daytona International Speedway, the 3.61 road course, which is used by NASCAR. It's not used by NASCAR, which is used by the Rolex 24 and the motorbikes. The Daytona 200 runs on the infield section as well. And here we go. The grid comes up with John Higgins and Josh Hislop on the front row. Ryan Smith and Cameron Ritchie. Martin Buchan and Jack Ayre. Fraser Williamson and Adam Brown. In 9th, Aidan Wilson. In 10th, Scott Smith. Jackie Glover is 11th. And Jonathan Glover's 11th, actually. And Jackie Chalmers is 12th.
It's Dave Noonan, followed by John Proctor, Cameron Evans in 15th, Steve Walsh, Mark Herron, Rory Bryant, Sean Warrington, and Sam Cosden in 20th place. Dave Christie's 21st, followed by Gary Brown. Michael Weddle starts this race from 23rd on the grid. And then it's Nathan Lamond in 24th.
And here we go. I'm looking forward to this one. All the way back down. Scott Malcolm in 34th position. We have got a full complement of cars. Let's hope that there's no shenanigans on this race as we had on race number 2 and lap number 1. Pull the belts down tight. Give the fingers a little flex. Here we go. The light sequence is about to commence. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's go at Daytona. A big wheel spin down in the mid of the top 10. I would have to say, was that Jack Ayer that wheel spun there by any chance? It could have possibly been, as John Higgins just gets squeezed out by Josh Hislop at the first corner. And round the outside has also gone Ryan Smith. But everybody filters in. Contact further down. Somebody hits the side of Dave Christie. Not Dave's fault this time. And who was that? It wasn't Jordan Gronkowski, but Jordan way down the field, Andy. I missed that. Obviously, that's after race number 2. I'll come back to that one in a minute. Josh Hislop leads through the International Horseshoe from John Higgins Jr., Ryan Smith, Cameron Ritchie, and everybody else filters through as they come up towards the dogleg. Absolutely flat out in 4th, left-hand kink as they head down towards the West Horseshoe. Higgins coming under increasing pressure from Ryan Smith. Smith looks at the inside and sends it. Ooh, that was late on the brakes. Can Junior cut back underneath him? No, good move that, Andy Alston. Solid.
Yeah, proper move there by Ryan Smith. Just sent it. But again, just picked his moment nicely. And there's more drama behind, though. Duncan, look at that. There's a number of cars affected. And we're going to have more cars in the pit lane, unfortunately, after just one lap. And it's certainly all kicking off. Let's see if we can get a replay and see what happened this time round. John Proctor, car number 460, the blue and orange car, just manages to avoid it. Dave Christie gets involved there as well. I think we just had a little bit of nibble. But then look at that. John Proctor just gets collected by 2 cars behind him. And there's not a lot he can do about that at all. Gary Brown there involved as well. And yes, it's just been another action-packed race here at Daytona.
Yeah, I didn't know where to look there, to tell you the truth. There's too many accidents all happening at the one corner as we come down the backstretch, I should say. Josh Hislop leads into the bus stop. Junior makes a mistake. He runs wide. He collects the cones. He's across the grass. He's going to be kicking himself for that when he comes back on, and he's going to join behind his teammate Aidan Wilson. So those two guys need to start working together again, and that is going to not sit very well in the Higgins camp, I would imagine. But back at the front is still Josh Hislop out on his own, and he's broken the draft, which is more important. And then we've got Ryan Smith, Fraser Williamson, and Adam Brown. And that looks like it's Jack Ayer recovering from a bit of a iffy start, a little bit of bump drafting. Why not? We're at Daytona. It's NASCAR territory. As long as you don't hit the man in front too hard, Andy. That's a question. If you hit him too hard, will you sustain front-end damage?
Well, it's always a risk with this damage model. I mean, who knows? I mean, what you're saying to that car in front is, I don't want to make a move, just you focus on the track ahead. We'll just sit and work together. And it's Fraser Williamson who's in 3rd place. He's had a very strong opening lap, up 4 places as things stand. One driver, of course, that's worth keeping an eye on is Michael Weddle. Started this race in 23rd place. He is already making his way up the field. And car number 7, there he is, the blue and silver MX-5, currently 12th place. There's a little bit of drama going on behind him, though. And it's all kind of kicking off there. Mark Herr and Sam Corson both coming together as we follow. And there's another car just a little bit slow wide. And it looks like it's Vic Covey. He's got damage. He's into the barrier. And he's out of this race.
Yeah, Vic Covey definitely had a technical failure before he got to that point where he steered off the circuit. But that was Mark Hearn that was having the battle with Michael Weddle as we come back on board with Josh Hislop. Now, yeah, he broke the draft, but look at this now behind him. He has got Ryan Smith and Fraser Williamson. Now, these next 3 cars should all work together and catch up with Josh Hislop quite easily on this next lap. The bump draft, how it works, effectively 2 cars do go faster in a straight line than 1 car. And in the UK, a lot of championships do frown upon it. NASCAR openly do promote it as long as you don't bump in the corners. The car behind it accelerates the car in front forward, and it does eventually pick up more speed, as they're all doing now. Also, air has such a huge effect on cars on super speedways. The push forward you get from the air of the car behind you is huge. Somebody having a moment behind, that was Cameron Ritchie. He exits stage left going in towards the bus stop. Never advisable, and it looks like he joins just in front of the recovering John Higgins Jr. Where's his teammate, Aidan Wilson? Started ninth, currently 9th. Not too bad for him. And he is in car number 12, but we're riding on board with Fraser Williamson. Again, you can see, Andy, so quickly has Josh Hislop been tracked down.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got Ryan Smith there just on the outside line here this time round. Fraser Wilson doing a little bit of bump drafting to put Ryan Smith into the lead, and Ryan Smith and Josh Hislop survive and no more, I have to say. That was very, very close. Fraser Wilson posts the fastest lap of the race with a 2 minutes 10 and 0.0. And look at that, very, very close there now. And it's Josh Hislop's just managing to stay in the middle of that pack. It's so close as they all make their way through the next couple of corners. Scott Smith currently 6th place, car number 82. Got the inside line there. He's going to throw that car up the inside now, but just cannot make it stick, and he stays in 6th place in this race.
And just behind him, we've got Martin Buchan. Martin, another good showing from him. Then Cameron Evans and Aidan Wilson. Mark Heron might have gone wayward further down the field. 22nd position for him just now. If we could see a replay of that, that might not be a bad thing. Comes up on screen just now. Mark Heron. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. Car on screen. The kind of bronzy car. What is he doing here? Brake. Turns in. Does he get... Oh, well, I don't really know what happened there, Andy. That was a very, very strange spin. But round he goes anyway. Mark Heron, he will be back to fight another day. He's given us some great performances. And Scott Smith, I'm going to keep my eyes on Scotty boy, car number 82. Scotty 2 Hottie, the Knockhill Garage mechanic, currently in P6. Let's hope he's not getting dizzy being this high up. He did say that he wasn't going to try too hard in qualifying. He was going to let the draft come to him. And he's got better through each race here. As we've got to race 3, Andy, he's doing fab.
Yeah, he's doing very, very well, up 4 places in a couple of laps, so you can't complain with that. 6 minutes gone in this race, and it's Josh Hislop who is trading places with Ryan Smith, and Josh Hislop's been tagged. He's been tagged, and there's more.
That's Adam Brown as well.
And it's all kicking off now. Scott Smith's made his way from 6th to 3rd in the space in a couple of corners. Let's get a replay of this. Car number 23, Josh Hislop, we're looking out for on the outside. Jack Eyre just tags him there, and there's nothing Josh could have done about that at all. It's a real shame. Both races compromised for them, and it's an absolute disaster, and that puts Ryan Smith back into the lead, followed by Fraser Williamson, with Martin Buchan taking the final step on the podium as things stand.
So that's a bit of a hand grenade dropped in there, a mistake from Jack Eyre, which we wouldn't normally see, to be honest. Josh, anyway, let's look at what's going on here, because as we come through with 7 minutes off the race gone now, that looks like one of the MSR cars leaving pit lane. That could possibly be... we'll come back to that. It's not really an issue right now, not affecting our lead race. Smith from Williamson and Buchan at the front. Evans, Weddle, Jack Eyre, Sam Corson. Where has Scott Smith gone? Did I miss that, Andy? Alston, he's in the pit lane, so repairing some damage. Not a disaster, because he was up to 3rd place going through the bus stop, but maybe he picked up a bit of damage from the cars. It looked like he got through, but all it takes is a bit of a tag, and you could really do a good bit of damage on one of these Global MX-5s. As we ride on board with Fraser Williamson, he's starting to apply pressure now to Ryan Smith. We saw Smith getting a little bit loose on corner entry there. As they start making their way back towards the banking, you've got to fancy Fraser Williamson for, I'm going to have to say, a victory, only because he's been at the front more than these other guys. But Ryan Smith, who we know very well, and Martin Buchan just off the back. It looks like it's a 2-car affair at the front just now, Andy.
Yeah, it certainly does. And look at Fraser Williamson, though, just bump drafting Ryan Smith. He says, I don't want to pass you just yet. 8 minutes gone in this race. So, it's been a good race so far from Ryan, I have to say. Very, very impressed with that move that he made in the infield section as well. And but amid all that drama over the last lap, look who is in 5th place. And I beg your pardon, look who's in 4th place in this race. It's Michael Weddle, started in 23rd, and he's made his way right through the field here. So a very, very impressive drive so far from the Rethink Racing driver.
What can we say? That is a sensational drive. Jordan Gronkowski also down in 11th place just now, started pretty far down, but Michael Weddle, that is a comeback drive beyond all comeback drives right now, as Gronkowski up behind Dave Noonan as they go into NASCAR 1, NASCAR 3 and 4. I keep forgetting which end of the super speedway we're actually at here just now. And Jordan, after having that coming together with Michael Weddle in race number 2, well, Weddle's further up the road from him, but they've both done some fabulous comeback driving, getting a little bit close to Dave Noonan. I've got to say, for liking there, Jackie Chalmers just off the back of these two guys as they come down side by side in towards the checker flag just now, or the checker flag, the start-finish line, sorry. Getting a little bit ahead of myself as we go 9 minutes into the race. We've got 5 minutes off this one or so to go just now. And it's still Smith and Williamson at the front on their own. And Williamson, I've got to say, Andy, I think he could have possibly got past, but it looks like he's just playing the game just now. But he can't play the game too long because already into third place has gone flying. Well, Michael Weddle has taken third place. He's on the box. From where on the grid, Andy Alston? From where?
23rd place on the grid. An absolutely remarkable drive from Michael Weddle. He's got a podium place as things stand, but I suspect he won't be happy with that. He's going to want to try and go another step further as we follow Ryan Smith. Now, car number 94, he's managed to hold on to the lead of this race so far. Fraser Williamson on his heels throughout, but look at the number of cars all there behind, and this really could go either way. We've got up to 7 cars could possibly win this race as things stand. As we follow Michael Weddle now, he's got Fraser Williamson, Ryan Smith both ahead of him. And this is the stage where Michael's really going to come into play now, because he will start to just slowly get the benefit of that slipstream. 0.7 of a second behind, down to 6 seconds, about to go down to 5 seconds, and he will sooner rather than later make a move.
I can't believe what I'm seeing on screen just now. This guy started way down in the pack, and he's just managed to pick his way through. He could technically take the lead with that draft, but he just backs out of it as they go in towards the bus stop. There would be a little bit too much risk for reward there, going over the curbs and everything else that's happened. Just off the back of Michael Weddle, we've got Jack Ayre just behind him. And remember, this is where he had his crash earlier on, just going into that bus stop chicane with Jordan Gronkowski. But it's Ryan Smith who is now looking in his mirror as they drive round NASCAR 3 and 4. And behind this guy, Fraser Williamson, we have got Michael Weddle, and here comes Weddle right up towards the back. He decides to pop out. Weddle actually fancies having a lead here as he goes way up towards the wall. He's using his own momentum. He might come down for a side draft. He's effectively in the lead now. This is a sensational drive from Michael Weddle. Now he's got to pick a braking point, and it's a very difficult turn one to get into. You're turning all the way. You come off the bank, and there's a transition there anyway, but Weddle sticks it in round the outside, and that, well, is all she wrote. That is a sensational drive. No matter what happens from here on in for the finishing order of this race, Michael Weddle can hold his head very high. This has been some display of driving for that young man.
Certainly has, and I'm just following that that little pack behind there. Sam Corson has made his way up into 4th place, up 16 places from where he started as well, so he's had a terrific race so far. Jack Ayre up into 5th as things stand. He's got the inside line here into Cameron Evans. Cameron Evans, again, is another impressive race. We're going to take a little look further back down the pack now. John Duncan in 14th place, car number 24 as things stand. Got pressure from Dale Smith and Mark Heron, both close behind. And look at this one. Look at that car number 74. It's Scott Malcolm, currently 17th place in this race. He's had another good race, up 17 places from the start. And this is where we're really seeing, Duncan, that drivers are having a moment, and then there's been real winners as a result of it, and drivers picking up huge points in this championship.
Oh, Psychedelic Scott in that rainbow colour car had John Higgins Jr. coming in right behind him. Man, I'm a big fan of that, actually. The brighter the better for a commentator. I don't like seeing too many white cars or black cars. It becomes pretty difficult for us. Weddle at the front is cleared off by 0.3 of a second from Ryan Smith and Fraser Williamson. These two guys still locked together. Weddle, well, he knows he can't pull away at the front, and just behind them, Sam Corson, Cameron Evans and Jack Ayre. Cameron just slides in. Oh, he's a wee bit wide on the first entry, but he manages to get through the chicane. I thought he'd maybe missed his first apex going in there, and you've got to be so committed to that bus stop chicane. Now we're down to 12 minutes 50 seconds. We're effectively 30 minutes. This will be the last lap of the day, Andy Alston, that we're about to start.
Absolutely, and Fraser Williamson will be determined to end this one on the top step of the podium. He's been second all the way through the night, and he's given Ryan Smith a push up the back straight here, but it's Michael Weddle who's got the inside line as things stand, but he's dropped off a little bit now. He's dropped off as Michael down into 3rd place. Ryan Smith retains the lead. Fraser Williamson is in 2nd place once again. But as we come into turn 1 for the final time here tonight, look at that, 4, 5, 6 cars all in contention. And wow, this is all kicking off now. In fact, look at that, it's 7 cars in fact, because we've got Martin Buchan there just look to get involved as well. It's Ryan Smith though, manages to again defend that position from Fraser Williamson. He's fighting once more. Sam Corson on the outside here into 5th place. Jack Ayre, that's looking like he's going to move into 4th and potentially hold on to it. And this is absolutely pure drama and some terrific racing here we've been treated to at Daytona.
Well, never mind the drivers. My heart rate's high enough, and I've got sweaty palms, and I'm not even holding onto a steering wheel. So I think these guys will be a little bit more tense inside these cars. We'll go through the Western Horseshoe for the last time of asking. It's still Smith at the front. Weddle could be the danger man. Then Jack Air, but hang on. Cameron Evans is so hungry for a good result here. He could be in one of the prime positions right now. He's far enough back in the draft. He's got Jack Air in front of him as they come onto NASCAR. Let's see what happens here. NASCAR 1 and NASCAR 2 are going to have to get done before we get through the bus stop. And then it really is money time. Smith leads the way. He's got 0.3 of a second over the pursuing pack of crazy mad axe murderers. That's all we can call them as they come down the back straight here. He's going to lead that one into the bus stop. I don't think anybody will want to pass him at the bus stop, although he would like it. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen. You can see them all feathering off. And there goes Cameron Evans up the inside. He sends it. He tries to get past Weddle. He gets past Jack Air. Was that? No, it wasn't. It was Sam Corson on the way in. So Cameron Evans is up for this one, but has he compromised his exit here as we're now round NASCAR 3 and NASCAR 4? It's Smith from Williamson. Weddle is in third place. You're going to have to think that there's going to be a push coming from third and fourth. And where are they? They can't see them on screen as of yet. And there's a big gap behind Fraser Williamson. He pulls out now and goes alongside Ryan Smith. He's now got himself in the lead. Here comes Weddle. Weddle's building all the way, but this one is going to be car number 369 taking the victory. Fraser Williamson from Ryan Smith, Michael Weddle, Sam Corson, and Cameron Evans run out the top 5. A fabulous race 3 here at the Daytona International Speedway. We see the rest of the guys coming through. Jack or Martin Buchan. Aidan Wilson gets a good finish in 8th from Jordan Gronkowski, and Jackie Chalmers runs out the top 10. Andy Alston, what a grandstand finish.
Absolutely, and it's not finished there because John Higgins, and there's more drama as well. John Proctor's just been tagged, and he spins out of this race, and it's just it's been edge of your seat stuff from start to finish, I have to say. And yes, it's been a real thriller here at Daytona.
I look forward to seeing what the chat rooms say about it. I look forward to seeing what the drivers say when they come into our virtual commentary booth as well, because I'm going to have to pick the bones out of that one, Andy. It was a pretty special 3 races. Race number 1 was very softly, gently, quietly. Race number 2, somebody dropped the hand grenade 2 or 3 times. And that one there, I've got to say, driver of the day for me has to come back to Michael Weddle. He didn't win that one, but that comeback drive from 22nd on the grid, I think you said.
23rd
on the grid. Yes, something pretty special. There are other great driving stories out there, and we'll try and pick up on as many of them as we can as we see a Titanic accident on the line there. We'll try not to look at that too much. Yeah. Draw for breath, Andy.
Yes, absolutely. Just pure drama throughout, I have to say. Credit to Fraser Williamson because he's had a strong event here, and he's been patient throughout, and he just picked his moment there in the last lap. He managed to get the run and just make it stick on Ryan Smith. But Ryan Smith, I think, credit where it's due as well. Terrific defensive drive throughout. I think he's had a good event here as well. And let's just take a final look at the results here as things stand.
So before we head over to the interviews, the results of race number 3 at the Daytona International Speedway are Fraser Williamson, Ryan Smith and Michael Weddle take the podium. Sam Corson is 4th with Cameron Evans 5th, Jack Air in 6th, Martin Buchan in 7th. A great run for MSR, Aidan Wilson in 8th, and Jordan Gronkowski comes back to a good 9th, just ahead of 10th place, Jackie Chalmers. What we should do now is we should probably pause for a minute or two. And Andy, shall we head to our virtual commentary box waiting room and find out who fancies having a chat with us? Because there's going to be plenty of talking points after that one.
Oh, there absolutely is. There's a number of drivers I'm very keen to hear from. So let's see who joins us after this one for a quick chat.
Did I unmute myself in Discord? So we are in our virtual commentary box now. I think we should have a word with who we've got first of all. Andy, what do you think? Let's get Scott Smith in there because it looked like he was on for a good run and then all of a sudden disappeared from that one. So he'll be good to jump in and we could find out exactly what went wrong in that race because, Scott, you had a kind of quiet couple of first races, but that third race, the way you worked your way through the field was sensational. What did you pick up some damage going through the bus stop, which made you have to pit?
Yes, I did. Yeah, How you doing, guys?
Yeah, good, mate.
Yeah, race one. It was just obviously going off my starting position. I think I tagged. Was it Vic along the oval? Sent him spinning. So I feel bad about that. Sorry, Vic. Just one of these things that happened. Race two. There was a bit of commotion, should we say, mid-pack, and I was caught up in that. And then into race three there, starting, I think it was 11th, 10th. And yeah, as you say, Duncan, just getting at the bus stop there, one of the guys just kind of checked up in front of me. There was a wee incident. Two cars had collided on the inside, and the guy in front of me, I think it was Adam Brown, he just checked up. Obviously, he's just seen it, checked up a little bit slower than I thought he was going to, and I've tagged the rear of him. And that was my car kind of massively damaged. I had to pit after that, and then get caught in another wee bit of scrummage. So it was exciting tonight.
Race number two was a little bit not disappointing, unfortunate as well. The Michael McPherson tag in the back of you after contact with Dave Christie, and that was kind of that one. But also, it took me a little while. That's a new colour scheme we're seeing on the number 82 car tonight.
Yeah, just try to kind of match my bike livery, Dunk. You know, the white black.
Well, there's no scuffs in it, so you're not matching it that well.
Well, there was plenty of scuffs in it after tonight.
Absolutely. Scotty, we'll look forward to welcoming you back for the next one, and go and get that car repaired. And thank you very much, mate.
Fantastic. Look forward to them.
Cheers, buddy. Andy Alston. Let's get. Well, we need to get Michael Wedlin. We've got to get him in, Andy. Let's have Michael Wedlin, because that comeback drive from 23rd on the grid to lead the race at one point. I said, Michael, no matter what happens here, this has been a fabulous race for you. But Andy and myself both want to know, talk about race number two. What happened with you and Jordan? What did you see, or did you just not see Jordan on the banking?
I honestly have no idea what went on there. I kind of watched the replay back, and Jordan went onto the apron and just tagged the rear of the car and spun it around. I don't think I really could have done much about it, personally, but it's just one of those things. You just got to get on with it.
Both myself and Andy were mightily impressed with that race 3 comeback, though, and Andy was watching you, charting it all the way back up to eventually lead the race, but unfortunately just at the end, they're just not enough to take that victory. But you must be delighted with how that one played out.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, there was a point where I was sitting 8th thinking, oh, the lead pack's just ahead, and then I think it all kicked off at the bus stop. And then I kind of, at one point, I was leading the race, and I was like, I have no idea how I've got here. And then I was kind of lining myself up to be third coming out the bus stop for the end of the race there, but I think someone behind had a big lunge past everyone and made me go side by side with someone. So I lost out to Fraser and Ryan there, just couldn't get on the draft enough just to get them to the line. So I'm delighted with that, really.
Michael, tell us a little bit about your mindset going into that last race, because you started, of course, with a win, had the incident in the second one. It'd be very easy to let the head drop. So how did you manage to just focus on the race? Because you must have surely been concerned about the championship at that point.
I've had it in real life where you've got the pace to win, and then you end up at the back because of a DNF of any sort. So you kind of just have the mindset of just try and not get caught up in any accidents and just try and pick your way through. I don't think I got any incident points that race as well, so I was just trying to keep my nose clean in it, just pick my way through it all, and just you never know what's going to happen in a race-free race, especially with the SMRC. It's even in real life and on virtual, because it all kicks off anyway. So it was quite good to see that playing in virtual world as well.
I've seen that happen for you in real life as well. I've seen the good come out of it, and I've also seen the very bad come out of it as well, Michael Weddle. Thank you very much, buddy. Great driving tonight. Unfortunate race number 2, but still a decent haul for the championship and the points. Thanks very much, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Okay, is that Adam Brown there at the top? I can only see Adam as his name. I think it'd be good to get Adam in, because Adam unfortunately caught up in that big shunt going in towards the bus stop in race 3, and that was really it. That was all she wrote, Adam. It had been such a really good event for you, if memory serves me correctly, up until that point.
Yeah, I was really happy with my race 1 and 2. Got a win, But I just, watching cars wipe out in front of me, I decided to be quite cautious, and obviously the cars behind me didn't have such a clear view of what was going on, so went into the back of me, and I had to come round for my fast repair.
Adam, we're off to Brands Hatch for the next event. We've had 2 kind of oval-based circuits. We go back into a much narrower offering now from Brands Hatch. Is that a track that you're looking forward to?
I've not done much racing at Brands Hatch. Kind of worried about Fraser's pace there because he's not been so fast around these rovos, but I know that it'll be much more rapid on the British circuits. Yeah.
Interesting to see how you all get on when you come to Brands Hatch. You've had two big, fast, sweeping ovals. We're kind of have a lot of room, and you're going to come back to Brands Hatch, which is not a lot of room for error. Adam, unlucky on that one tonight. Cracking race victory and a cracking kind of, to a certain point, until it went horribly wrong, event, mate. We'll catch up with you at Brands Hatch, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, buddy. Okay, let's get Jack here in. Well, not too many people in the waiting room tonight. We'll finish with Fraser after this one. Andy, do you agree with that? I think that's a good one. Yeah, okay. Jack Eyre, one of those nights where it was good, it was bad, it was cars going left, right and centre, and you just had to try and keep your nose clean. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, absolutely. It was just a case of staying somewhat close to one another to keep the draft and just work together to try and build. I think the gap for the draft is about 1.2 to 1.3 seconds when you're in a pack. So if we could pull that on the cars behind, we were a bit safer. But yeah, it is what it is. Just trying to gamble with when to go and not to lead on the last lap into the bus stop.
Was there a little bit of game playing in that draft? From what I saw, it looked like people were just feathering out the throttle. You were one of the guys at one point who had a big lead, and then all of a sudden the cars caught you, and I thought, I think he's just breathed out the throttle a bit there.
Well, the overspeed's insane. So sometimes if I have actually got a massive lead, that is just the toe doing all the magic. It's when I've got a car close behind me that I may be lifting off a bit just to try and get them to pull alongside me, so that I could drop behind and have them punching the hole in the air ahead of me. But yeah.
Jack, the pace isn't in any doubt, and you underlined that at Charlotte with taking the win in the final race. But do you feel it's been almost a little bit of a frustrating season for you because we know you've got the speed, but it's just putting it all together?
Yeah, there's been a few mistakes that, well, I've learnt from and things like that. Just making sure that I'm in gear before I let the clutch out on the grid, and trying not to get tangled up in other people's issues. And it would have been a clean sheet apart from I think me and Hislop came together in race 3, but I think we were too wide, too deep in 4 cars going into the bus stop, and yeah.
Was there any team kind of, I'm not going to say orders, that's not right. Were you looking for teammates to try and draft with, or no? Was there any team orders, Jack? Because racing, Rethink Racing, there's quite a few guys out there, and you're all quick.
Yeah, no team orders, so to speak. No guaranteed anyone's going to finish first. Come the last lap. We were all just sort of working together, chatting along as we were driving, almost like we were in the velodrome, pulling out the draft, dropping to the back, and pushing the car ahead with. But no team orders. On the last lap, we were all racing elbows out.
I've been in the velodrome once, and I was sitting in a chair. Thankfully, I certainly wasn't doing the cycling. That's right. Andy mentioned in the last one that we're off to Brands Hatch. Thoughts ahead of coming back to the UK and Brands Hatch?
Can't wait. It should be good. It'll be night and day difference to the racing that we've seen here today. Just because that's the nature of the track, of course. Draft's not massively important, but it is still going to be a factor on that back straight. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be good. It's quite a technical track, and every different track that we visit in these MX-5s, you sort of learn a bit more about the car, and you eke a bit more pace out. So if it helps me get a bit quicker, and yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it.
Fabulous stuff, Jack. Thank you very much again for joining us in the commentary box, the virtual box. We'll look forward to seeing you on the podium at Brands Hatch. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, gents.
Thank you. Fraser Williamson will be sliding in next, and Fraser Williamson was one of the only guys that wasn't a Rethink Racing driver up at the front. It must have felt awfully lonely at some points, Fraser, when you're out there trying to look for a drafting partner. But certainly tonight kept you on your toes, mate. A decent event, good stuff.
Yeah, I shouldn't really complain with 2 seconds in a first, to be honest. Yeah, it's incredibly difficult when you're up at the front and there's 4 or 5 of those Rethink cars all around you, and you're like, I'm just going to sit here for the next 6 laps, hope I'm still here, then hope they make a mistake that always makes me slip through, because they can bump draft each other, do whatever they want to keep me at the back, and they tried their hardest to do so.
Fraser, that's been a good haul of points for you in the championship, I have to say, as well. I know you've been racing in some other championships recently. Is the focus now on the Spring Cup with the SMRC?
It certainly is. The Sports Car Open finished at the weekend there. There's no other leagues or events planned as such, so I'm going to be, spending the most time I can on this when it becomes available. Thankfully, it's every 2 weeks, so it gives some time in the off week, so to speak, to be able to go off and do something else. But yeah, it's now moved back up to the main priority, so to speak, in terms of what I want to win just now.
Yeah, every 2 weeks will be quite good, especially Brands Hatch. A circuit is it a circuit you're familiar with? Because as Jack here just said to us, it's going to be a different style of racing, and in my mind, you're going to have a bit more finesse for getting around Brands Hatch than you do for getting around these two Rovals. What's your thought on that?
Well, it's going to be infinitely more difficult than around here, where you can be a second and a half off pace and still keep up in the draft. But Brands Hatch, because we're using a GP layout, the draft will still play a massive, massive effect down the main straight and the back straight. Overtaking to the line will be quite difficult, so I would expect to see moves done earlier than what is happening tonight. We won't have any of the absolute nonsense that was happening. So it'll be more enjoyable, let's put it that way. People will win because they've driven the first 14 and a half minutes well as the last 30 seconds instead of just the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, Mivano Sim Racing are happy to have you in their team. Congratulations, mate. Good stuff. Good haul of points tonight. Thanks for joining myself and Andy in the virtual commentary booth. We'll catch up with you at Brands Hatch, no doubt, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Now, okay, so Andy, is Scott Malcolm actually... Has Scott Malcolm been in there all along? I think he's been in there all along, hasn't he? So, Andy, fabulous stuff. Another cracking night racing, a cracking eSports Cup for us here. And yeah, a few of the drivers saying that we're coming back towards a different circuit with a different layout of racing.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, what that does is underlines the importance of qualifying. The drivers are out there with no one else to contend with. It's just them and 4-time laps. So you have to get a really decent time on the board here, because Brands Hatch, it's that old classic track. It's very, very narrow. There's not too many opportunities to make an overtake. So it's going to be very, very important again. And of course, we go into the business end of this Spring Cup as well. And this is where any points that are won and lost are going to be absolutely crucial.
Thank you very much. This has been Duncan, Vincent and Andy Alston for the SMRC Esports Racing Spring Cup. We look forward to getting you guys back on side at Brands Hatch for the GP track. Remember, we're always broadcasting on SMRC Esports Facebook, YouTube and Sim Broadcasts Twitch. Sim Broadcasts live partners for your sim racing event. Until next time, from me, Duncan, Vincent, from Andy Alston, thank you very much.